to seeing how big you get.
Oh no, thank you. And it's crazy because I hear you're really big into marketing too. Like, so that's a, you know what I'm saying? I love that intersection right there. You know
That's
what I'm
where
saying?
that's where I have respect there. And
Yeah.
I listened to a song called "Beat the Odds."
Wow.
I like
Thank
the
you.
idea of "Beat the Odds."
Yeah.
The lyrics were a little different from what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah. No, man, love, but you know, it like you said, it's about the intent of the song. You know, the intent and why I made that song was to, you know, inspire folks. You know what I'm saying, and let them know,
Yeah,
like, hey, just explaining my story. You know, and that's, you know, but thank you for listening to that, man, and yeah, you've been a part of some cool, you know, companies as well as I was seeing that you have a engineering background.
yeah.
Am I correct? That it's in electricity.
Electrical engineering. I studied electrical engineering at Stanford, but that
Yeah.
was and I minored in poetry. So I
Okay.
I I,
Yeah.
I did write something. Since we're on a show with a big rapper, I thought I'd give you a little rap. Are you
Let's
up for
go,
this?
man.
This is amazing.
Let's
Okay,
go.
and I needed to you. I was supposed to explain Bitcoin to you, so I thought, well, wait, how do I explain Bitcoin to a rapper?
Right,
So
right.
I wrote something called the Bitcoin Hustle. So you ready?
Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Let's
I wrote it
go.
with Kelly James. So here we go.
Yeah.
When Satoshi Nakamoto made a token, perfecto, no friction, cross-border, decentralized, the world he did join was chanting Bitcoin to be global, no quarter and harmonized. Connecting the world with pervasive money, he opened our minds, made the banks look funny, but he kept his
Hey,
head
yeah.
down, he
Right.
stayed in the dark. We'll never know if it was planned or a lark, but the world post Satoshi is forever changed. Whether his origin block is lost or unclaimed, the world is rocked, bankers shocked, bureaucrats too. Governments don't know what to do. We want a new world order.
Yes,
We want
sir.
to play across the border. I just
Right.
want to be a hodler on my Bitcoin hustle. On my
Yes, sir.
Bitcoin hustle.
Yes, sir.
Bitcoin hustle. Go get your hustle. Go and flex your Bitcoin muscle.
Yes, sir. Right. Who wrote that for you? Who wrote that for you? Man, that's too good. Hey, flex.
Only on Keepin' Cozy. Only on Keepin' Cozy.
Amen, brother. Amen.
I thought you might like that. So that the key there was Bitcoin is a currency that is not tied to a government, and it is open and free for everybody. Open, transparent, global, and decentralized means that it's no one government person or whatever can print any more of it. It's all set up. There are only 21 million of them out there, and it can't be printed. So like when our government prints money, it's okay for a while, but if they start printing trillions and trillions of dollars of money, then our money is worth less, and that brings on inflation, and then you start losing an incentive to work. I mean, the reason that we get to work, we work hard, is so that we can earn money, and that money can grow in value and keep growing. But if you lived in Argentina or Nigeria, you would have a currency that drops half to a 3/4 in value every year. And so let's say you build something up and you get 1,000,000 Nigerian naira.
Right.
Well, the next year that's worth about half or less. And the next year it's worth even less. So then your incentive to build something of value just goes away.
Right.
And that's been true of a lot of South American, African, and Southeast Asian countries where their currencies just don't hold. So Bitcoin is now a global currency that allows one person's work to be the same no matter where you are around the world. So there you go.
And how important would that be for like artists like Lil B?
Well, look, I think Lil B has a big future, and he's not going to want to get paid in Argentinian pesos.
Right. Shout out to Argentina, though.
Right, you don't want to be paid in Argentinian pesos.
Right.
Because they're like hot potatoes. You got to get rid of them. But as an artist, you've got to think. I want to build something of value. I want to create something the world to see so that they feel my heart, and that should be available to everyone in the world, not just the people that are close and around me. So I believe we're moving from a tribal world where we had these borders, like I draw a line in the sand and you stay on that side, I stay on this side, so you can go build your community, I'll build my community. We don't get in each other's way. We've now gone to where, whoa, those things you're doing over there, I'd be interested in those. And those things we're doing over here, you'd be interested in them. And so there's more trade. And with the internet, trade just blew up. It opened up huge. And so now I look and I say, well, yeah, everything should be global. And governance should be just the way all these other, like you have to compete with Lil Wayne and whoever else. Governments need to compete too. For us, and they don't actually have to be tied to geographic territories anymore. So that's the world I'm going toward, and that's where Bitcoin is kind of leading us. It's leading us to a place that's open and decentralized, and also it's just better currency. You know, you have to pay 2.5% to 4% every time you swipe your credit card. Well, now with Bitcoin, you don't have to pay the bank. I mean, the bank doesn't get that 2.5% to 4%. That just stays with you.
Is the FTC involved within Bitcoin? And what's that relationship with? Like,
that's interesting. I know the SEC is interested, and what they decided was that Bitcoin's not a security, it's a currency. So it's treated the same way the yen or the euro is. The FTC in trade, that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about it. I'm sure they have some thoughts on how that would work. I mean, if they like free trade, which is usually better for every country in the world, because you know, if you don't have free trade, it's like when Trump was putting up the border, like he put up the border and then he put up the trade war, that hurts us because we can't trade with China now. And then you do some, if you start doing that in a lot of different places, it hurts your own people. So you don't want a trade war. You want trade to be free and open. So I think the FTC is probably very pro Bitcoin. The tax man, the IRS was concerned at first, but then they realized that they could tax it as an asset like a stock. So if you buy Bitcoin at $1,000 and you use it at $2,000, you have to pay a capital gain on that.
Okay.
And eventually, I think with cryptocurrency on this blockchain, they keep perfect records. So the money will, the government could charge a transaction fee, like 0.025 or something. And they wouldn't have to charge you any other tax ever.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, because they'd make so much money off of that. And then the other government, you asked about the government, the other government group, well, the options traders are concerned. Was the U.S. Marshal's Office, because it started out, Bitcoin was being used for nefarious purposes. And the U.S. Marshal's Office was saying, we got to shut this down now. And then all of a sudden they realized that the blockchain keeps a perfect record. So if you're a criminal, use cash. Don't use Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, they keep a perfect record. And so the U.S. Marshal's Office just goes and they catch everybody.
That's crazy.
So I think, and then there's the new woman who's the head of the Treasury. She needs to be educated because she still thinks that Bitcoin's being used for nefarious purposes. But
right.
It turns out it's not.
Yeah.
It's mainstream now, you know?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And so, I mean, what do you feel about like seeing like Chase Bank and all these other banks now starting to, you know, get on that trend, like PayPal, I guess? You know, I know Cash App is using, you know, you could buy Bitcoin and stuff like that on Cash App. So,
and how important is Cash App and stuff in like the hip hop community?
Yeah, Cash App's super important, you know, like one of the most important. I mean, from what I know about Cash App is like they're working to make money available to everyone, like having a bank, having an account, you know what I'm saying? And making it fair for everybody. Because I know there's, you know, some like going to a bank or sometimes it's hard for people to get an account or, you know, like at a physical bank, brick and mortar or something like that. But Cash App, you know, that's the future, you know? And so for hip hop, yeah, Cash App means everything, you know? Cash App means everything. And especially, you know, with them being a payment processor and going into different territories within, you know, financial literacy, trying to help people understand more about money and, you know, just help, you know, I think they have a debit card or a card where you can withdraw funds, you know, at an ATM or something like that from your Cash App account. So it's extremely important, you know, especially for like entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And, you know, folks that I believe get the 1099s or the, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Do you have a label?
Yeah, you know, right now I have a label, Base World Records. Yeah, I do. Yep.
And do you trust them?
I do trust my label. Yeah.
Okay. That isn't always the case, as you know.
Right.
And with Bitcoin, people, every time here's something really cool. Every time your music is played, let's say you worked with a label that was purely Bitcoin on the blockchain. Every time your music is played or you get paid by Spotify or whatever happens, that money would immediately go into something called a smart contract. And that smart contract would drop into everybody's wallet in the ratio it's supposed to, based on what they did. So if you got a drummer, you got a guitarist, you got a you know, vocalist, a saxophone, lyricist, they all get paid in some way. And there's this waterfall of payments, like the investors have to get their money back first, and then these guys get their money. That whole waterfall can be done in software. So the trust factor, the trust is there. Right. It can be completely done. And then every time you get paid in some micro Bitcoin, you know, tiny little piece of Bitcoin, and then it adds up. And so every time somebody goes and downloads Beat the Odds, then you get paid, and it just drops in, and it can be in real time. It doesn't have to be like quarterly based on some accountant's thing, based on whatever. It's just done. The machines do it. Right. So I think if anything, Bitcoin could be a huge benefit to an artist in the music industry.
And you know, one question I have for you is, so where would you know, create an account to accept Bitcoin, or what, you know, like when you're looking to invest, right? Where should I, you know, because you hear people talk about like Robinhood or like a Merry Trade or something like, you know, where do I go to start investing?
It's Robinhood's very simple. You can buy Bitcoin on Robinhood. You can buy it on Coinbase, which is
Coinbase.
the main exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you wanted to receive it, well, what's interesting is you could, I could send you Bitcoin just from here to you in 20 seconds.
Right.
It's very simple to move Bitcoin from one place to another.
Right.
But the other thing that you said, how do I receive it?
Right.
If you're like an e-tailer or retailer, you might use OpenNode, because
never heard of
that that allows you to accept it without, you don't have to pay the banks the 2.5% to 4%.
Awesome.
So that OpenNode turns out to be a good solution for you.
Thank you.
Then I've looked at quite a number. I haven't invested in any, and so I don't actually remember their names, but there are a few groups that are working toward this idea of taking Bitcoin, putting it into a smart contract for artists, for musicians and actors and studios and for that whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And putting all the finances on this smart contract, and that's coming. It's not there yet.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's what we need. More transparency, and like you're saying, everything right there and being recorded, so where the funds are being allocated. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing.
I have a couple of questions for you guys, because there's a lot of similarities between the two of you. You're both from the Bay Area. So it'd be awesome if the two of you could reflect on the Bay Area, like from being a kid, and then also how it's changed. Because,
Lil B, where did you grow up?
Yeah, Berkeley, California, man. Shout out to Berkeley. And it was interesting for me because I actually grew up low income in Berkeley, which is very unique, and beautiful. So I really didn't feel, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't, because I grew up near 4th Street. The place that I stayed, I might as well have been in San Francisco, how I felt, beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking over all the businesses, and I go outside and I could just walk down and just interacting with all the people. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, for me, Berkeley, growing up in Berkeley and growing up in the Bay Area, was amazing. And you have the trials and tribulations, growing up, finding yourself. You know what I'm saying? Being a young person, because I feel like all kids, it's rough. And once when you get to our age, you're a survivor, and anybody that's pretty much alive out here in this jungle is a survivor, like it's because it's not easy for any of us, no matter where you from or where you grow up, man. So Berkeley for me,
What about you, Tim?
That's great. So I grew up, I went to school in Menlo Park, California. Very, and it was one of the top schools. Wow. Very good. But I did have my moments, I had a guy with a knife to my neck, serious, asking his friends if he should kill me because I said something he didn't like.
Wow.
And there were moments where I thought, well, this could go either way. But we did have a great education system. But I grew up, it was a lot more rural back then. Mm-hmm. And there weren't really fences between the properties. And we used to take shortcuts, which would end up being great adventures. And we'd cut across property. And we didn't know whose property it was. It just cut across it and run. And, yeah, we were I felt very free and independent. And then my mom would just say, "We'll get back before the sun goes down." And if I didn't, then I'd get grounded, and then whatever.
That's not what you want.
But one thing I want to,
my training in economics came from when I was about 10 or 11 years old. I picked a bunch of apples and I was selling them on the street, and I did it for about a month, maybe 2 months. And I every day I go get the apples and I bring them out and sell them on the street and go pick more apples, get them, sell them on the street. And the apples were 5 cents each. And every once in a while I'd have a friend come by and say, oh, and hang out, and then they get bored and then they go away. And one day it was pretty much near the end of the apple season. And my neighbor's mother comes by and says, so how much money have you made? And I said, $8.
Yeah, right.
And she looks at me, she said, well, who helped you here? Well, I said, I pretty much did it myself. No, but who was here, during the time that you were here? And I said, well, this guy and this guy and this guy. About 5 people I mentioned. And she takes the $8, she hands me one.
Wow.
And gives one to each of these other guys.
Respect.
And then takes 2 and walks away. Takes the other 2 and walks away.
Okay.
And I thought, that's socialism, and I don't want to have anything to do with
it. Wow. Hey, that's a lesson for you, a bought lesson. Wow.
So I became a capitalist very easily. It didn't take much.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Just took one mother. So, thank you to her for being
right.
whatever she was.
Right. Yeah. And what's the difference between socialism and capitalism, real quick? Just a quick one.
So socialism is really government control. That's the way I look at it. Capitalism is freedom and free markets. So North Korea has a dictator, socialist dictator. Everything's determined by the government. The government says, for lunch today, you get 28 grains of corn. And that's all you get. And in South Korea, they say, go do what you got to do. Go build your business, make your living. It's very much like the US has been over the years.
Right.
And today, and it's been about 40 years or something since that war. I think that's right. During that 40 years, it's been 4 generations. It's been like 80 years.
Okay.
It's been about 60 years. Anyway,
right.
They've gone from where the average South Korean, the capitalist system, makes 400 times the money of the average North Korean. And even when you do parity on what something costs, it's still 400 times. They're 400 times richer than the North Koreans. And the average South Korean is now 4 inches taller than the average North Korean.
Wow.
So if anybody who says, hey, we got to do a socialist thing, send them to North Korea.
Right. Might lose lose some
and there's
height
something
there too.
You make your money, you earn it, you try. But then there's also something to share it around. I mean, you make it, you share it, but having the government decide things for you is usually a problem, because they tell you, government might say to you, no, you can't sing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's socialism. Socialism is when they hush you down. You lose your free speech, and based on the song I just heard, you don't want them to get anywhere near you.
No, USA. No, period. I gotta speak, bro. I gotta speak. No.
So I have 2 more questions for the both of you. And I think the first one, which I'd really like to know, is what is it like being someone who people want to know? Because like in the world of hip hop, everyone, needs help from the former generation of artists to start blowing up themselves. I know you inspired a lot of people, Lil B, all of these SoundCloud rappers. And then with, you, Tim Draper, you've helped a lot of young entrepreneurs, start their, businesses. So what is it like being someone, who people kind of want to know? And then also, what is it like watching some of the people who you've helped grow?
Tim?
Go ahead, you do this one.
Oh yeah, no problem. So I mean, for me, it's just an honor. It's the reason why I make music and why write art, and why I go to different places and I'll sit and meditate and think about what do I want to do today. Like I was just writing some poetry before this, and it's like it's the biggest honor to inspire people. Like I said, and even though we're talking about capitalism, and I think some of my shortfallings or my shortcomings are like I don't come in it thinking about money for me, right? Like I'm coming in it thinking about how can I execute my ideas, because I know, like that's kind of like an unspoken thing. Like my ideas will make money, right? But my goal and my focus is how can I get my ideas out and created and manifested to inspire others as well as inspiring myself. And it and it's like I'm living proof that if you and things do take capital, right? Things do take money, as well as people do love and help each other. Humans do love and they will help you, and there are ways to gather, teamwork. You know what I'm saying? Crowding. I want like crowdfunding, but you know what I'm saying? Like just getting people together, man. Think tanks, like the whole nine. So for me, it's the biggest honor to inspire. It's the biggest, because I remember being a kid and not really having a lot of control because you're a kid.
Yeah.
And you're listening to other people and, the adults and the teenagers. And they have a lot of power and influence over you. So it's like when you're doing the best you can, for me, when I'm doing the best I can and I'm trying to give out the love and all the information that I can that has helped me, I feel great, and I feel great doing that.
What he said.
Amen. Amen. Amen, brother.
It's what one of the great ironies of life is that the people who do things from their heart make a lot of money, and the people who do things for money don't make a lot of money.
bruh, that's hey, listen. That's why I'm trying to ask you some questions about, how do I do this and do that? Because it's like, it's more, as I've gotten older, it's kind of like, okay, now you want to ask about, I guess, the structures, or how do I invest? How do I do? But it's like my heart is in, creating and being around people, and like I want to plant trees and help people, or and obviously the music business, like investing in finances are a part of that, right? So it's like, and money's beautiful. I'm not against that, but at the same time, right, I feel like since I didn't come in the game with the structure of money, or like I didn't come in with it, now I'm having to learn about it, and ask these questions and figure out, from the legends and that understanding, and can break it down, and that can break it down to me instead of making it more, like it shouldn't be overly complicated, but breaking it down to, simply, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There was a instructor at Stanford, this woman, Tina Seelig, who was on my board at Draper University, which I recommend all the viewers of your show.
Yeah. San Mateo.
Draper University. It's pretty awesome.
I'm look, entrepreneur. I gotta come.
We'd love to have you.
We'll love that.
But there's one experiment, and that is they give each of these teams $5, and they say, okay, go out and see if you can turn this $5 into something much more valuable. So some people are all out there, they're spending the $5, investing it, they're doing different things with the $5. But the guys who win are the ones who say, screw the $5, let's put together a car wash. Let's do something with you know, we can make a lot more than fun.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And the
For sure.
and that's the spirit of what you've been saying. Is it? And
Yeah.
the other thing is that for me, money is a vehicle to get cool things done.
Mm-hmm.
You talk
Yep.
about planting trees. We're looking at a company that plants trees with drones, and they shoot paintball guns into the ground, and then it
Love
plants
it.
the tree.
Love it. Look, Tim, where can I invest in your ideas, like your companies or whatever you do? Because like that, you're the cool guy. Because all the companies that you invest in, because I kind of look at it like how I look at real estate, right? And how I see communities and places that are on the up and up. You know, and a lot of it you can judge from music and the art that's coming out, and you know what stores that are, you know, out there. You might have a Whole Foods out there. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go there. But you know, all the companies that you invest in, I feel like it reflects on your personality because you seem so open-minded and cool. And it's like, dude, I mean, all the like from the Twitters, the Teslas, was it Skype too,
Yeah.
or Robinhood? It's like all
Robinhood.
those are super, you know, cool, man. Like, I mean, those are dope to me. So it's like, what, like, where can folk like? Because I mean, so it's like the index. I mean, like the index fund, right? Is that like where you invest in just a bunch of stuff? Like,
Yeah, well, what I do is I invest in early stage venture capital. Or I invest in early stage companies,
okay,
and it's called venture capital. And
right,
they don't all turn out like Robinhood. In fact,
right.
more than half of them go out of business.
Mhm.
So I'll invest in two guys and a dog, and then someday down the road, either it turns into Robinhood or it turns into nothing.
Right.
But if it turns into Robinhood, it makes up for a lot of mistakes that I made.
Right.
That's my business. I'm torn with you, giving you advice, because I think you might be best off investing in yourself and turning that money back
Yes,
into
that's what I do.
you.
Yes, sir. Love. Yeah.
You know, maybe you need to diversify a little so that you feel like there's some money that's being taken care of for you or something. But I think, you know, and based on what I saw, you have a flair for the media and for getting interesting people together, for doing different things. I just keep driving that. That's a pretty good thing to be betting on.
I follow you.
But we accept investors. We have a fund and we do our thing. And so I'm happy to send that out to you if you like.
Please. Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, I'm looking at your track record, and it's just like, yeah, the quality of company and the people that you believe in. It's like you said, this new company that you're looking at with that plant trees with drones. It's like, come on, man, I'm behind you. With you, let's go. With you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm behind that. So yeah, that's amazing.
I have one final question, and then I think Lil B, you may have a poem if you want to share something.
Okay,
But
okay.
My final question for both of you is, you guys talk a lot about like confidence and how to go your own path, and like Keeping Cozy is for, you know, college students and young people. And I feel like the world in which we're brought up in is, you know, follow what makes money at the moment. Don't become a rapper. Don't create your own fund, do things by the books. But how do you get the confidence to like kind of leave that bubble of doing what you're supposed to do?
For me, it was just small wins. You start with a few small wins and you go, okay, I got that. And then you go for a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. And you look back, and sometimes things go badly and then you don't have the resources. And sometimes they go well and you do have the resources, and then you have to, in both cases, you have to get creative and say, okay, what do I do now? I think that's it for me. And it helped me. I played a lot of chess with my dad. And it helped me to sort of think a couple of steps ahead. So I'm always kind of I have no idea what's going on like right now. I don't really follow the news very well. Like, you know, I kind of drift,
Good.
but I have a pretty good sense of what's going to be happening 5 or 10 years from now. And, you know, that's where people look at me, they think, God, he's so weird because he's into this Bitcoin thing and it just seems weird. Or he's into, you know, God, he did that stupid deal with us, you know, and the electric car thing.
I love it though.
It was,
love it.
and each time it was like I was doing something stupid at the time.
Right.
And if anybody was watching the news, they would have realized that I made a huge mistake. But then down the road, it was like, oh, maybe he knew something we didn't.
Right. Exactly. Right. Forward thinking.
What about you, Lil B? How did you get to become confident?
You know, well, first I think it's when I'm, you know, getting around legends like yourself, that brings even more confidence. But even before that, I think it's about having like faith, you know, and faith within, you know, God, or if, you know, if you don't believe in God, whatever that you believe in, that and why you feel like you're here as a person. Like, you know, I have faith and I believe that I'm here for music and to think and to inspire people and to figure out how I can like serve the world. You know, I mean, that's kind of like really my calling. Like I love to like serve and help people because so many people have helped me, right? And you know, I don't want to say serve me, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so hey, so but look,
Bob Dylan, you got to serve somebody.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, because that's what, like, how can I serve the world? You know, like, so that's kind of like my thing. It's like I've gotten so much love, and I have faith that, and sometimes, you know, I wonder what am I here for? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I? You know, what am I here on earth for? Why was I? You know, and but I always go back to the reason I know why I'm here. You know, it's for music, it's for what I love. And music is more than, for me, right? It's more than just putting together sounds and rapping over something, or it's the intent behind it, you know? Like my intent to bring people together, my intent to maybe feel like if you're listening to this with your headphones and you're alone, I'm that friend for you. Or if you want to go and feel, you know, edgy, you can listen to the music. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to go into another place and just free your mind. You know what I'm saying? So it is so many reasons why I make music. And I just think everything that people do, it should be the intent. What is the intent behind what you're doing? Like if you like to cook and you love to like genuinely help people, you know, through food, you should, you know, cook and try to start some cooking app or some, you know what I mean, or some brick and mortar, you know, where you're and feed people. You know, look, go to Menlo Park and start something. You know what I'm saying, and feed the folks around there. You dig? So, hey, and that's why I'm in it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a poem you want to end on, Lil B?
You know, I will say this. My people, we could change the world. It takes a brave one to stand up, live positive, turn that frown upside down. Love means life. It's our town. My people, we could change the world. It takes a brave one to stand up, live positive, turn that frown upside down. Love means life. It's our town.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
Bless your hearts, man. Bless your hearts.
Thanks
I
to
try
the
to keep it simple, straight to the heart. You know what I'm saying?
I think this was a legendary interview. I think it'll maybe hit 100K views. Thank you guys so much for
Yeah, I
everything.
think it's gonna hit 1 million views. This is
that's what I'm
wow.
saying.
Hey, and send it to me. I'll pass it off to my audience. My audience and your audience are gonna be very different. This is gonna be fun.
But that's the beauty of it.
Look, I want some of your folks, Tim. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what's good. Even if it's 1%, that's for real.
I mean, but
That's
hip
for real.
hop and entrepreneurship are the hustle, right? Like it's so similar when you think about it.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, musicians and hip hop, we're looking to invest. I mean, so many rap artists are looking for, the right counsel, as well as, obviously educating yourself to understand, but looking to team up with the right counsel, because I mean, music essentially is teamwork. And these rappers and musicians, including myself, we're making this capital. So it's like, where can we invest this and spread this love, and make it bigger, you know what I'm saying? And not just for self, but what can we do that's actually going to impact the world, you know what I'm saying?
Tim, do you think there could be a hip hop fund down the line?
Absolutely. You know what's really fun is that I have a horrible voice, but I totally love singing, and so I go to karaoke things, and I grab the microphone and I've got it the whole time. I go to I have a couple of guys. Sometimes I'll sing with a band, and I just love doing it. I get the love of that music. It is there's something great about it. So good for you, and boy, making a living doing it. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
That is impressive.
Thank you, man. No, same to you, man.
You have done something really extraordinary. So
thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks to both of you guys.
Hey, this was fun, Jacob. Yeah, you call me anytime you have something fun for me to do like this.
Yeah. Well, to both of you
Lil
guys.
B, this was a great honor. I am thrilled. I think we had fun, and I think we'll have to keep in touch.
This is just a start. I'll see you around. You know what I'm saying?
You guys are in the same area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to make something happen.
And I just want to say thanks, because this is, you guys are helping me make this podcast a reality. So that means a lot to me. And
Jay, you're a legend. You're a legend, brother.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Okay, have a great one.
Bye.
Yep. Peace.